there's pretty much specific scholarships for everyone.
That kind of sounds like a deflection.
I did really enjoy today, but my boyfriend, I told him I'd be done by 10, so I do have to.
I bet.
As soon as I showed up, I am the
rage quit. Rage quit.
Oh, we could do it again.
Super villain.
Rage quit.
But I told him I'd get on it.
Can I just ask you one question before you leave?
I think y'all not really giving Pearl a fair shake, right? Because in real life, I think she really likes black people. If you know, you know, right? So, but I do want to use Pearl's logic real quick. Because let's forget about what we were talking about in the past. Right. Okay. So look, right. So I want to focus on what's happening right now, right? Like if we're looking at right now and you're looking at the callback rates for potential employees that are black versus white, they have to turn in 50% more applications. That's systematic, right? That's something that we can bitch about like right now, right? Record low unemployment, 5.5% over the last 50 years. It was pretty much double that, right? If we talk about incarceration rates, I know y'all touched on that, but innocent black people are 7.5 more times likely to be convicted wrongfully of a crime. So that's real, right? This is what I'm talking about, the systematic shit, right? And the odds, we talked about the deletion rate, but for real, I've heard many people part their lips who are in this space to say that the exception to the rule is never the rule, right? So 98% of us are not incarcerated. I've never heard anybody horned out on a fact that was 98% ever until we start talking about black people, right? And the odds of a person actually being deleted, you go outside right now, we talk about how bad this is going on, but it's 0.002%. So it's not something that you really have to worry about. Most white people aren't actually being violated by black people. So I would want to know what people would have to say to that, because I feel like we're really honing in on a lot of things that black people are doing, but we are actually moving in the right direction. We understand that there's work to do, but for us to be ridiculed in such a way, it sounds crazy to me.
Wait, what was the
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by Amira and her little sexy secretary glasses. She done just throw out.
Are you sure? I was trying to copy Pretty Intellectual. I was trying.
So Trev, were you agreeing with her or disagreeing? I think that's where I kind of got lost. It sounds like you
you got lost in that? Did you hear the stats that I just read on?
Yeah, how'd you get lost in that?
That was sarcasm, bro. That was in the beginning was sarcasm.
I can tell you what it is, the callback rate, black versus white. I don't, again, if you're an employer and you hire black people and you're out of 5 black people, one was lazy, one stole from you, and one did X, Y, and Z. You're gonna be less likely. One called you a colonizer. In the future, you may be less likely to hire them. Again, it's if that's the reputation of the group, people do adapt because it's very expensive to hire an employee that doesn't work out. Like you have to pay them for months, and it's just.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, so we're talking about the whys, right? If we're talking about the whys, this is what the reason why I brought that up is the why. We're saying why are you feeling like black people aren't up to par? The reason why is because there's actually systemic racism going on. That's a real thing.
Trev, she spoke about the why. She talked about pattern recognition. But the thing is, if she's being logically consistent, she would have to say the probability is much higher for other white people to build up a bigger pattern recognition of other white people. So therefore, they'll probably have either the same or more negative accounts with other white people. If we're being honest, like think about it, if the white person is the head of the company, they're hiring more whites anyway. So then therefore the probability is higher for them to have negative experience with more white people rather than black people. So she is pattern recognition is a real thing. Pattern recognition, we all utilize it, and it helps us to, not make the same mistakes that we made before. You get what I'm saying? It helps us with many different things, but I think that's the part that she was speaking about the why, Trev, but it was just different from the why you were looking for.
Can I?
No,
I disagree that there's systemic racism. I think there's more racism against white people.
Of course you do.
But how would you be able to recognize that when it's impossible for it to happen to you?
Well, I mean, even by that fact, you're saying it's impossible for me to experience racism.
Systemic racism. It's impossible.
Well, again, that just kind of goes back to that's a cop out. Like I just think
cop out. First off,
there's a lot of. Do you want to hear my opinion, or do you just want to?
Go ahead.
I mean, there's a bunch of scholarships that are given. Like when I was in high school, there was a black guy who got like a 27 on his ACT, and he got into Notre Dame because there were specific scholarships for black people there. The white guy in my class, he got a 32 and he didn't get in.
No one can verify.
Are you gonna go on the record and say that scholarships are wrongfully awarded to black people more than anyone else?
I'm not saying that it's wrong or right. I'm saying there are specific.
No. Did you hear the question? I said, are you going to go on the record saying that there are more scholarships awarded wrongfully to black people than any other race? That's what I asked.
Again, I didn't say wrong or right. I said the fact is there are specific scholarships. It's the same with women, right? There's specific scholarships that are made for women. There's pretty much specific scholarships for everyone.
That kind of sounds like a deflection.
I did really enjoy today, but my boyfriend, I told him I'd be done by 10, so I do have to go.
I bet.
As soon as I showed up, I am the boogeyman.
Rage quit.
Oh, we could do it again.
Super villain is
rage quit.
But I told him I'd get on it.
Can I just ask you one question before you leave? Can I just ask you one question?
I don't
the
use
super villain is here.
Can I ask you one question before you depart?
Gotta go. I'll see you guys.
Rage quit. That's a rage quit.
It's not a rage
quit. I bet.
I'll see you.
Rage quit.
Do it again.
The super villain is here.
Y'all scared her off.
What up?
Peace of the Saints. Thank you for. I don't know who added me on, but whoever it was, I appreciate you sharing your platform with me.
Hey, what up, man?
That was JR.
I'm chilling. How you feel?
What's up, bro? What's up? Good to see you.
I do want to state before I left my stream, I especially came here because I wanted to catch Pearl. And before I left the stream, I said, hey, my team had reached out to her and she agreed 2 times and backed out. I said, if I showed up on that panel, she's going to run. I said that before I came over. Soon as she saw my face, she's like, actually, the tea is boiling. And Shorty got up out of here so quick. But with regards to the specific question, I just want that to be stated for the record, because all of these white supremacists, they swear up and down they are the greatest intellect we've ever seen. And then instead of using meaningful statistics, data, and studies, they keep on telling you what their experience was. Well, my experience with black people, I thought that was insane, because I'm like, I grew up in a ghetto. All my family's black, and I barely see any black people. How do you see that many black people? I got to organize an event to be around black folks. So they're using anecdotal lies, but to the point of the guilt, white folks don't feel any guilt. And one thing that we have to start doing is what you guys didn't pull out. And I was listening, mind you, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it so much that I decided to react to it as much as I can. So my commendations to all of you. But when she's talking about black fatigue, she's essentially suggesting that there's something wrong in the black genetics. Our DNA provides a propensity to violence. We're fundamentally bad people. And when you say there's something wrong with the DNA, you can't train people out of that. You can't educate them out of that. And she was even sly enough to say, not you, Cooley, you're cool. Which I was like, what is this, a TV show? Like, this is crazy. So the fact of the matter is that when they have identified your genetics as problematic, now they're providing the explanation as to why you can be eradicated, because they're doing it for the good and the peace of the society. Because you're the devil, you're the problem. So they're just going to get you out the way, because we tried to reform them. We gave these black folks 300 years in America and they still ain't acting right. The problem with these people is this. They'll point out the violence in our genetics and they'll use their crime data, but they never acknowledge their crimes because their crimes are not recorded as such. One of the things I wanted to ask her is, how many people have black folks killed in 2025? She wouldn't know the answer, but I'd give her time. She'd go check the answer. Then I'd say, okay, how many folks have white people killed in 2025? And then she'd go check the crime statistics, and then she'd come back with some very low number.